Hello YouTube, this is Braden with Midwest Websites, your solution for business website design and search engine optimization. Think Google hates your website's SEO? Reach out to us for an SEO audit to see exactly where you stand and what you should be doing to get back on track. Link in the description below. Now today we're going to be going over something that's going to be pretty important with the release of Chrome 68 later in the month, and that's going to be how to install an SSL certificate. Now this process can sometimes be really easy. Some providers allow you to automatically install your certificate. The one that I'm going to be working with is GoDaddy. I'm going to be installing an SSL certificate on one of my add-on domains. And this is going to be for a standard one-site SSL certificate, and GoDaddy doesn't offer automatic installations for add-on domains. They can only automatically install on the root domain of a given hosting plan or a website that's set up in managed WordPress. So today we're going to go over how to do a manual installation for those cases where an automatic one simply isn't available. cPanel is a pretty universal platform. Different providers are going to have fairly consistent layouts as far as cPanels are concerned. They might look a little different. A typical cPanel has a blue and white color scheme. There might be a few different buttons depending upon your host. But we're going to get started here first by requesting our certificate. Now, I've already gone ahead and added the website we're going to be working with, example2.midwestwebsites.com, and I've gone ahead and just installed a default WordPress installation on it. I haven't done anything with the installation to this point. It's just a blank canvas. So we're going to go through how to get the SSL installed on there, as well as how to make sure that when people go to your website, your SSL is actually being utilized. To get started, the first step that we need to take is to generate what's called a certificate signing request, or a CSR. So in cPanel, we're just going to go to the SSL TLS section here, and it's going to have a few different categories for us. Fortunately, it lays them out pretty much in the order we're going to need to work with them. In this case, we're not going to do anything with private keys. In most cases, you don't need to do anything with those, so we're going to leave that section alone and just start down here with the link for certificate signing requests. Once we're in there, we're going to generate a new certificate signing request. And I'm actually going to take out this old one that I worked with earlier, just so that we've got a clean slate. And we're going to generate a new 2048-bit key. We're going to use the domain example2.midwestwebsites.com, since that's the one that we're going to be working with today. You'll, of course, want to replace this with the domain that you are intending to work with for your website. And we're just going to fill in some basic business information real quick. You only have to fill in the fields that have the little asterisks next to the entries here. So we're based in Cedar Rapids, which is in Iowa. We're in the US. This is for Midwest Websites. And we're going to generate our certificate, or our certificate signing request, rather. So, as you can see here, we have the starting line of begin certificate request, the ending line of end certificate request, and a bunch of gibberish that is going to be important for our certificate authority to recognize what our certificate should be issued for. So we're going to go ahead and copy all of this. You'll want to make sure, of course, that you copy the lines that include begin certificate request and end certificate requests, and the little dashes before and after. And then we're going to go over here, and this may look a little different from provider to provider, but any certificate authority should have a place for you to put in your certificate signing request. As you can see, we're just going to paste that in here, and we're going to save it. And we're going to submit our changes here down below. There isn't anything else we need to do with this. As I said, I did this a little while ago, so this is actually being done as a rekey. Yours will either be a new certificate if you're just setting it up for the first time, or you can do this if you think something's happened to your certificate or if you need to renew it. So we're going to go ahead and submit all saved changes here. And it's going to take some time for the certificate to issue. Depending upon your certificate provider, this can be anywhere from a few minutes to as long as 72 hours. With GoDaddy, usually they're fairly quick. Usually you'll have your certificate within a few minutes. I've seen it take as long as 2 hours. In really rare cases, I've seen it take up to their full 72-hour time frame, but generally speaking, that's pretty rare. So I'm going to go ahead and pause for a moment to give them some time to get the certificate issued so that you don't have to wait through that. Alright, and now we're back. The certificate has been reissued for us. So in order to complete a manual installation, we're going to need to download our certificate file. Now, there are a few different types of server that are out there, and it's going to be important that you know which one you're going to be downloading for. Since I'm on a Linux hosting environment with cPanel, I know that GoDaddy is using Apache, so that's the one I'm going to select here. And I'm going to go ahead and download the zip file that's going to contain my certificate information. We're just going to save that over to my computer here, and it's going to be available in my downloads for me. So what you'll want to do is you'll want to go ahead and extract the files using your favorite extracting program of choice. And you're going to see there are a couple different files that are going to be present. The one we're going to care about is going to be this first one, which is going to be a bunch of letters and numbers rather than the GD bundle here. So now that we have our certificate, we're going to go ahead and go back into the SSL TLS area of our cPanel, and we are going to install our certificate. So first we're going to upload it to the server. I'm just going to browse my computer real quick. Get the file. We're going to upload the certificate. Excellent, we've got it here. So we have the certificate on the server now. However, before it will become active, we also need to make sure that we install it to the domain, which can be done here in this last link after we click on Manage SSL Sites. What we're going to do is we are going to browse the certificates that are on the server. We should just have the one here in this case. You may have more if you've done more SSL certificate installations or if you have old certificates you haven't removed from the server. We're going to go ahead and select our certificate. It's going to fill in the information. It's going to be assigned to the correct domain. And we're just going to go ahead and scroll down to the bottom, and we're going to install it. Alrighty. So cPanel has successfully installed our certificate. So now that we've got that installed on the server, let's go ahead and head over to our website. Well, that's odd. If my SSL certificate were installed, I should be seeing HTTPS up here, but I'm not. It's not pulling up what I need to see. It's just giving me the regular HTTP connection. Now, we're going to need to tell the server to send any connection to our website to the HTTPS version, just to make sure that they're always going to be secured. Fortunately, there's a pretty easy way to go about doing that manually. So what we're going to do is we're going to just head over to the home page of our hosting platform here. And we're actually going to need to go into the file manager for this one. Now, for those who are in GoDaddy, it is going to be important that you go down and get the icon in this particular case, rather than clicking on the green bar up here. The reason for that is when you click on the icon, it's going to bring up this little pop-up window. It doesn't really matter where we start, but it's going to be critically important that we make sure that this box to show hidden files, or .files, is checked. By default, most hosting environments do not have this checked, and you need to be able to see these files to make the change that I'm going to be showing you. So we're going to go ahead and open up our file manager. And it's going to start us in public HTML. We're just going to head over to the folder where I've got example2.midwestwebsites.com installed. And we're just going to do a quick code edit on the htaccess file here. Just right-click the name of the file and go in and hit the edit button here. Your other option, if you don't have right-click, you can just click the name of the file itself, and you can get to the code editor up here at the top of the page as well. So we're going to go into the file, and I've gone ahead and copied the code that we're going to use into a notepad here. I'll also include it in the comments section below for you so that you don't have to go and hunt this down or copy it from the video. We're going to go ahead and copy that. Now there's going to be a little bit of code in here that WordPress generates for you. We want to make sure that we're not plunking this other code in the middle of it. You can set it up before or after the code, either is fine. And we're just going to paste that in. And we're going to save our changes. So if we go over to our website now, all right, WordPress is now showing us the HTTPS up here at the top, and Firefox has a bright green padlock here. Now, if your site is not coming up, which can happen with a lot of different types of websites once you put this code in, you're going to need to check a few things. For HTML websites, it's going to be very, very important that your URLs in your code are using this HTTPS in front of them rather than just HTTP, just to make sure that everything loads correctly. For those who have more established WordPress websites, you may see that some of your images might not be loading, or videos or sliders aren't working. We're going to talk more about that in just a little bit. But this is going to be the point where you're going to want to make sure that you're covering for what your site is going to be doing. You may have a little downtime. Generally, it's going to be recommended that if you're concerned about interrupting traffic, you do this during a low traffic time for your website. Perhaps an evening or a weekend if you do a lot of business week commerce. You'll have a pretty good idea of when people are visiting your website if you keep track of your analytics or your traffic in general. So with all those disclaimers out of the way, let's go ahead and jump into our WordPress admin area. So we're just going to log in real quick. It's going to prompt me to do a setup. I'm just going to skip it since this is a brand new installation. And we're in the dashboard. Now for starters, it's going to be a good idea for you to head over to your settings and go to the general area. From here, you can set the default URL to use HTTPS. You're going to want to make sure that you do this for both your WordPress address and your site address, just to make sure that things are properly directing to where they should be going. Now, in some cases, installing an SSL certificate might kick you out of the WordPress admin dashboard. If it's done that, you'll want to make sure that you're doing this particular step before you go in and install the SSL certificate. Fortunately, if you just go in and take out the code that I had you put in a little bit ago and remove the certificate from the server, which you can actually do in the same general area we were working in. I'll just show you that real quick. Over here, you can go in and uninstall the certificate here. Or in a particularly extreme case, if you needed to remove the certificate from the server, which the uninstall should be sufficient, but if it isn't, you can go in and remove the entire certificate by hitting the delete button here. Now, if you're still having trouble getting some of your images or your sliders or your videos to load, you have a couple options that you can work with here. The one that I would recommend that you do, rather than going in and playing in your database, would be going over to your plugins. And there's a really lightweight plugin that you can install for this sort of thing. We're going to go ahead and just add a new plugin up here. And if you do a search for SSL, it's going to bring up the really simple SSL plugin. You can go in and just install that. It's just a one-click install, real nice and easy. You can go in and activate it, and then go ahead and activate the SSL. This may kick you out of the WordPress admin dashboard. It may not. Just kind of depends on whether or not you've gone in and made the URL changes already. There may even be a hosting setting that just kicks you out when you do that. Perfectly normal. We'll just go ahead and log back in real quick. And if you hadn't changed the HTTP to HTTPS, really simple SSL will do that for you. It'll have this changed in the address and site address here. And it should fix all of the links that are part of your WordPress database so that they're all using HTTPS as well. Now, if you're still running into issues after that, you may want to have a quick consultation with a web developer if you're unfamiliar with working in your database, as that may be something that you need to explore. You may even have to go in and do some digging in the code of your website. You might actually have to go to a given page and take a look at the elements on the page to see if it has updated to HTTPS for different elements. Sometimes it will not. This is an older version of the page before we went in and got the SSL certificate configured and all the links adjusted. But if you're seeing HTTP come up down here, it means that the item in question has not been converted over to HTTPS. It is possible that depending upon your theme or your plugins, some of these may be out of reach of really simple SSL. It's not necessarily common, but it does come up more often than it should. If we go in and just do a quick refresh of the page to use the HTTPS, you'll see down here that everything has been updated to use HTTPS as intended. And that's all there is to it. It can be a lot to take in if you've never done it before, but this pretty well covers any hurdle that you're going to run into within a cPanel. If you're still having issues, you may want to consult with a web developer or with your web host. Some hosts will be really helpful in going through what steps you're missing. Others don't offer as much support on this, in which case you're probably better off going to a tenured web developer to go in and have a quick look at this, make sure everything's been brought up to speed, as you don't want to go through and break something in your database by trying to do a find and replace if you've never done something like that before. I hope very much that this guide has been helpful to you. If it has, please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Get that information out to those who need it, and have a great day.